The McFluff Story, Generation 1, Episode 4. Welcome! Carrot's here. Iris and Gerry are housemates and they live in Dark Harbour. This episode is to try to get them to the point where they are romantic interests, because we need them to get married and move to live with old Gerty in Hidden Springs. Now, when I opened Dark Harbour, I arrived at this household, which is the household we all know if we've been watching Oscar's Childhood, because this is Tom and Donna Fields with their two toddlers, Valerie and Mark. From here on, the McFluff Story and Oscar's Childhood will be all played in the same save. Back at the green household, Gerry is there on his own when Henrietta Biggs dropped in for a chat. Now, Henrietta is a witch and she's also a vocal legend. She's married to Keith and they have a pair of toddlers and a teenage son. They're just another towny household in this save, and you may see them around town occasionally. Otherwise, you don't need to worry about them much. It's dark outside and getting late. Iris is at work at the coffee house where she is in a culinary career, and that is Henrietta going home on her broom. And that's Henrietta's house. Let's just have a quick peek inside the Biggs household. There's just the four of them there because Henrietta is just coming in the front door. When I returned to the green household, there was Gerry playing in the gyroscopic conductor. That came with Showtime. I think it might be a limited edition, but I'm not sure. But I got it with Showtime. Now, Gerry works as a lab technician in the science career, and he seems to have an affiliation with this gadget. I think if I just showed you what he does to it autonomously, you'd see nothing else for the entire video. He really likes being in it. I think when he has been using it more often, he may be able to control it a bit better. You can also go on adventures. They're just text-based adventures, but you can go on adventures with that gadget. I won't show you much more of this machine, but if he ever does do anything interesting, like catch on fire, and I've had several Sims catch on fire in it, and I happen to have it videoed, I will show that to you. But otherwise, assume if he's got downtime and I'm not telling him what to do, he's in the gyroscopic conductor. Next morning, Iris was up early, preparing breakfast. Looks like it was waffles today. She needs to improve her cooking skill. We want her at level 10 with cooking skill. She will get there shortly. Between cooking and practicing cooking at work and reading the cooking book at home, she should get there soon. She's fairly high. I think she's about a level 9 and a bit at cooking at the moment. And she's got a lot of recipes to read. Might get that started while I'm filming for this episode, but you mightn't see her doing the reading because that's a bit boring. There's Gerry. He must have smelt those freshly baked waffles. These two are best friends, and I think I'd like them to be romantic interests shortly. Good if they could get to be girlfriend and boyfriend as well. Must be just after 8 o'clock because the gardeners are arriving. I've got a mod for this. It's available at Mod The Sims, and if you Google Sims 3 Gardener Service, you'll soon find it. The version of the mod that I've got, you get the correct number of gardeners that can finish the job in one day. The earlier version of the mod, you used just to get 2 gardeners. There are 125 simoleons each for the day, but they pick a lot of harvestables, and it frees the Sims up to do other things. I don't hire the gardeners until my Sims are above level 7 in gardening. So Iris and Gerry are going to spend some quality time together playing chess. Don't know if this is actually going to improve their relationship, but it will teach them a bit about logic. Those bees are very noisy. They can hear them really loud downstairs inside the room where Iris and Gerry are playing chess. I find them quite distracting. I think they're going to have to move, and they did. That's the back boundary of their lot, right down near the water's edge. The fence came with Island Paradise expansion pack, and that gate with the fish hanging on it came with Ambitions. I don't remember using it before, so it was good to use something I haven't used, and it's quite appropriate, I thought, for its location. Beehives down the back, as far as away from them as I could get them. When I'm building a house on the beach, I usually try to make it as tiny as possible so as to maintain the look of the beach, and then I use basements for their living arrangements. This pair have just got a 2-level basement because they're not going to be staying here for very long. I'll just get them as romantic interests, and once that happens, they'll move to live with old Gerty because Iris's mother and old Gerty were best of friends. And Iris has never met old Gertie, and neither has Gerry, of course. I don't think Gerry's even heard of old Gertie at this point. But something will happen that will convince Iris that they really do need to move to Hidden Springs. And the only logical thing to do is to share that huge house that Gertie owns and move in with her. And that's where they get introduced to her 15 cats. And they start on their family obsession with helping Gertie find the solution to her problem of being able to turn her cats human. Because as you know, she had a very terribly sad accident years ago where she turned 15 of her worst friends into cats. And then she discovered that she couldn't reverse the spell. So she's got all these cats hanging around her all the time, and she just wants them gone. She can't just throw them out because she knows they're really human. So she's got to wait until she can find the solution to the problem of turning cats to human. I think it's a very big task. Garden is looking better already, isn't it? It was all wilting when they got there. So Gerry's heading off to the greenhouse to look for seeds. Iris is all ready for work. That'll be why Gerry decided to go out, because she wasn't going to be home all afternoon. And he's got other things he could be doing out around town. The gardeners will stay there until they've finished working in the garden. That's the gardener's truck there, blue one. Not the ice cream truck, the blue one with the ladder. There's Iris heading off to get her the carpool. There she goes. She works at the coffee house. There she is, she's arrived at work. I think I'm going to have to work on this coffee house because I just noticed that it's got no seating out around the stage. There's no tables or chairs out there. So there can't be any performances with audiences. That Sim standing on the stage, that is Marty, Patience's ex-husband. He's an elder now. If you've been watching Oscar's Childhood, you would have met Haley with all the children and lots of different husbands. Well, Marty is Haley's father. He actually looked after Haley, Helena, Heather, Henry and Hannah. Patience never married anybody after she left Marty for Tobias. Marty divorced her and married Marcy. Now, Marty and Marcy live in Dark Harbour with their children. So here is Gerry at the greenhouse. I sent him there because he's got a wish to grow a forbidden fruit, and he needs to get some seeds so he can work with a science machine to do a gene splicing experiment until he gets a forbidden fruit seed. He doesn't need seeds to plant in his garden. He's got more than enough planted in that garden already. They've got 6 gardeners. He might also consign some of his produce to the humble harvest stands that are at the greenhouse. They make a lot of money when they consign them to the humble harvest stands. They came from the store with the alfresco market, which I've got in this world somewhere. We might actually go there later on. He's got 5 humble harvest stands there. You can consign his produce there as well. He's catching the wildlife. I'll sell them immediately so he doesn't constantly play with them. Aha! Now see, Blossom Flower. That's her picture that you just saw on the right. And she's in this world, and there she is in her military outfit, tending the humble harvest stand. And that is Henrietta. Remember we met her at the very beginning? She's married to Keith. Her teenage son is Jean, and they've got 2 toddlers. We met them at the very beginning of the video. And that's Blossom Flower that she's talking to. Blossom has got one of those special skins. That's not a tattoo that you can see on her arms. She is a fairy who's meant to just wander around. I think she's actually an evil fairy. She's not meant to do anything or even get dressed up in a military uniform. She's supposed to just be wafting around the world, making a nuisance of herself. In case you're wondering what he's up to, I've got Gerry collecting those suns. They're short of cash, and the suns can be sold for up to 100 simoleons each, if you sell them before they reduce in value. So he doesn't keep them in his inventory. I just sell them straight away. That was Jeannie Kelly. She's a townie from Dragon Valley, and that teenager sitting at the table is Brittany. She's a witch, so she must be Brittany Bombay. I think she's a clone, but we will meet her and her mixed up family in another episode. Gerry's heading home with a pocket full of seeds for his gene splicing experiments, and he has sold a heap of suns, so they've got more money now. They'll have enough at least to pay for their airfares to go to China. Just have a quick look around Dark Harbour at night. So Iris went to a party after work, and that is one of the copies of Patience. a version of Patience in a really old game. She was married to Jebediah Wilson, and they've got children. And years ago, I'd saved the household with their house to my library, just in case I might use them again in another game one day. And when I was populating this world, which is almost totally empty when you get it, I just decided it'd be quick to grab a house that already had Sims in it and just plopped it down on an empty lot. Then I discovered it was a household that contained Patience, who was married to Jebediah Wilson, and they had 2 children, a teen and a child. Now, Patience is already in the game. She's an elder, and she is living in Lucky Palms. And Jebediah Wilson is also already in the game. He is almost an elder, and he's married to one of Patience's daughters, and they have a couple of children as well. But I wanted to keep this version of Patience and Jebediah and their children, so I renamed them. And Patience Wilson became Florence Wilson, and this Jebediah Wilson became Jim Wilson. And I will make Florence a younger sister of Patience one day when I set up the family tree. They're in different worlds at the moment, so I can't just yet. And Jebediah and Jim can be made brothers. Now, that blonde in the blue top that Iris is talking to at the moment, she lives with the Wilsons. Her name is Josie Heyman. Now, she's another one who was living in a household of 8 Sims, 8 young adults who were unrelated, and I placed her household into this game as well. But for some reason, although she had her own room and it was a big house, the game moved her in with the Wilsons. I have no idea why. Wilsons didn't have a bedroom for her, and at the same time as it moved her in, gave the Wilsons a new baby girl called Hillary. Why, I do not know, but I went and played them for a little while and expanded their house so that there were rooms for both Josie and Hillary, and left Josie there because she obviously didn't want to live in the big glass house at number 3 Gravel Pass. She either didn't like the house or she didn't like somebody else living there. And that's Iris talking to Larry at the moment. Larry is the teenage son of Florence and Jim. While Iris was having fun at the party, Gerry was at home alone, having fun with his gyroscopic conductor. It was time for Iris and Gerry to take their relationship to the next level. So next morning I encouraged them. See, the gardeners are there, their truck's outside. So we got Gerry talking to Iris, and then we did a little bit of flirting. They kept chatting and hugging and becoming romantic interests at last. But they're new Sims, and they don't have any skills yet, not very many skills. They need to do a lot of reading and also have to build up their lifetime happiness points. And they have several wishes that I want to grant, and I want to get all this done before they go to China. So they won't be leaving for China just yet. I won't show you the whole thing because it'll take too long, but I'm about to get them to binge read recipes and skill books. I'll show you the little bits here and there, and Gerry's going to take his seeds downstairs to the science machine where he is going to try to make a forbidden fruit seed. And this is all going to happen when they're not working, because they've both got to continue with their jobs. Don't forget, we want that fridge from Iris. She needs to get to the top of the culinary career, and I want that mad scientist's ability to perform experiments on items for Gerry, because I've hardly played with that interaction gets from a science career. So they're both quite low in their careers, so there's going to be quite a while before they actually get those objects. Iris is off to work at the coffee house. Looks like the Biggs toddlers are sitting outside. That's the proprietor with her back to us. Oh, there's Keith Biggs there with the red hair. So the toddlers aren't there alone. I don't know who that is. It's with the long black hair walking away. Looks like there's a few customers. Oh, there might be a mixture of customers and Sims turning up for work. I hope Keith can get both of his toddlers home again. I wouldn't like to lose one of them. I want them to go to the boarding school. They'll get to meet Oscar when they're at the boarding school. See, there's no tables or chairs there. I'll have to fix that. So Gerry's back home working on his experiment. He's got to find a seed that he can use to do the gene splicing experiment on. Puts it inside the machine. It's getting some green radiation pumped into it. Lots of flashing green there. What's he done? He's got it! First attempt. He's got a forbidden fruit seed. Now, I did not want it to go down into that messy garden. There's no room for it there, so I made a little shrine sort of a thing with the platform that came with, I think it was late night, and I recoloured the small mat soil rug that came with Into the Future. There's some custom content there, as well as those two. The yellow and purple flowers are from the store. They came with the greenhouse venue. Pink painting on the wall is made by my friend Cutie Brinnis. So I don't usually fertilise anything unless I'm using one of those gardening fertiliser things that came with the store. But I'm going to get Gerry to fertilise this. I've discovered that Gerry does the laundry autonomously. The gardeners are at work. He's going to wash those. Oh no, he's putting them in the dryer. I thought they just needed drying. Get that all done. I've never seen Iris autonomously do the laundry, but Gerry does it quite often. So I've put a pot plant there as well because Gerry's got a wish to grow a garlic plant and a flame fruit plant. We'll let him plant those seeds and take care of them while this forbidden fruit seed is growing. You can see it's a sprout at the moment. There's somebody at the beach. It's night time too. It's late. I wonder who it is. There's horses there as well. Must be a teen. She's going to do homework. Megan Urson. Haven't played with her for ages. I didn't even realise she was in this world. She is the baby that Claire Ursin is pregnant with when you first launch Sunlit Tides. And I understand her father is Jared Frio, but he's not in this world because I wasn't playing with him. Megan was at the boarding school as a toddler, child and teen, and I remember at the time she aged up to teen, there were lots of pictures of the makeover I gave her with a new outfit, and I posted them on the forums. It looks like Iris has decided to go to the Alfresco street market on her way home from work. It's late at night and that's where she is. I've upgraded this. All of those Humble Harvest stands came with it, but I added the university ping pong table and I also added the teriyaki grill that's from one of the Japanese sets and the pizza oven that came with the World Monte Vista. And I've added in the barista bar that came with University Life. It looks like there's a few other things there as well, and there's lots of tables and chairs spread around, so my Zooms can pop in here any time to have coffee or something to eat. Those tables and chairs in there as well. That's the barista bar that came with University Life. It gets an automatic attendant when it's on a community lot. I think the attendant just stays there 24/7. There are times I've seen the attendant get swapped over with somebody else. They seem to do shift work in some games, but not always. And in one game years ago, I actually had one get overheated and turned into ashes, and the Grim Reaper came for him. There's the pizza oven that came with Monte Vista. I just put them there so they'd be in the game. They're not that pizza oven. If you've got it in your house at home, it will often make the fridge break. Not everybody has that issue. It is a bug. It's well known and well documented, and I didn't have it for a long time, but I did eventually get it. That's the lemonade stand that came with it as well. When a child mans it, they can either sell lemonade or psychiatric advice. So the forbidden fruit is growing. It's got leaves now. I wonder if he'll get a forbidden fruit or a plant sim baby. I decided that it wouldn't matter what he gets, because if it's a plant sim baby, they can take it with them to Hidden Springs and we'll see it grow up. I've never actually had a plant sim get beyond teenage years, and most of mine don't get beyond toddlers because I just don't concentrate on them. They're all still in my big game, and you'll see them running around all the time when you watch my videos. I guess they'll gradually age up. Every so often one of them ends up at the boarding school for a while. I make sure they learn all their skills that way. Since there's still about an hour plus of video for me to work through, and this video has got to more than 18 minutes, I think I'll leave it here, and we'll pick up from this point in the McFluff story, Generation 1, Episode 5, which I will start working on immediately. So thank you for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the story so far, and will be wanting to watch the next bit. And if you haven't subscribed already, please think about it, and also if you've enjoyed the video, click the like button. I shall see you in the next episode. Bye for now, and happy simming.